the struggle is over. It's because it has been. That constant draining effort to observe your reality into being has suddenly stopped. The pressure is gone. The work has ceased. You are no longer in transition. You have entered what advanced quantum physics recognizes as the post-observer phase. This is not a spiritual metaphor. It is a measurable shift in your entanglement with the quantum field. It is a fundamental change in the physics you are now operating under. And in the next 50 minutes, I will validate this profound achievement, explain the new scientific principles you are now embodying, and give you the framework for this new state of effortless creation. We are moving beyond belief systems. This is grounded in the hard-edged principles of quantum decoherence and the transactional interpretation of quantum mechanics. These are not theories for academics in a lab. They are the operating manuals for the reality you now find yourself in. They prove, unequivocally, that consciousness isn't just a passive witness to the universe. It is an integral, structural component of reality itself. It is the very fabric from which space and time are woven. But with this profound internal shift comes a quiet confusion, a subtle, persistent doubt that this newfound effortlessness is just a temporary fluke, a cosmic grace period that could end at any moment. You have experienced a quantum leap internally, but you lack the language, the framework, the external validation to anchor it into a permanent state of being. This creates a dissonance, a strange echo of the old paradigm where you wonder if you are simply imagining it all. Have you ever felt that? A profound leveling up, a complete rewriting of your internal code, but with no one and no framework to confirm it, leaving you to question your own sanity. This feeling, this sense of being in a new territory without a map, is not a sign of weakness. It is the primary symptom of graduating beyond all known spiritual maps. You have walked off the edge of every teaching you have ever learned. If this scientific validation of your deep inner knowing resonates, hit the like button. It signals to others who are feeling this exact shift that they aren't alone. It is a beacon in the quiet, a confirmation that this is real. So how do you know you've shifted consciousness? It starts by understanding the phase you left behind. To fully grasp the power of where you are now, you must honor the mastery of where you have been. For years, you were a quantum sculptor. Think back. Picture yourself in that role. You stood before the raw, unformed block of marble, the infinite potential of the quantum field. Your focus was the chisel. Your will was the hammer. With immense concentration and discipline, you chipped away at possibility, meticulously observing a single outcome into existence. It was hard work. It required relentless visualization, emotional congruence, and the sheer force of sustained attention to collapse the wave of potential into the particle of experience. There was you, the artist, and there was the marble, the medium. A clear separation. The process was external. You were acting upon the field. That was the old physics. It was necessary. It was your training ground. That sculptor is no longer who you are. The separation is gone. The tools are obsolete. By the end of this video, you will move from questioning this new power to confidently wielding it as a master. You will understand why the old methods no longer work for you, and you will be given the new principles of operation. You will move from being the sculptor of reality to its very architecture. To understand the new physics you now operate under, you must first honor the physics you have just transcended. You must understand why the old way, the way of the quantum sculptor, was not wrong. It was simply incomplete. It was the necessary training ground. Think back to the foundational principle that guided your every effort, the observer effect, demonstrated most elegantly by the double-slit experiment. For years, this was your operating manual. It taught you that reality existed as a boundless sea of potential, a wave of infinite possibilities called superposition. This was your block of marble. It contained everything and nothing all at once. Your tool, the blueprint said, was your focused attention. Your consciousness was the chisel. By directing your observation, by holding a specific outcome in your mind with unwavering focus, you performed a sacred act of physics. You forced the wave of potential to collapse into a single, concrete particle of experience. A new job, a healed relationship, a physical object. The universe, in its state of pure potential, waited for your command. Your observation was the command. The sheer force of your focused belief was the energetic pressure that solidified one reality out of an infinite number. You became a master of this. You learned to hold a frequency against all opposition. You learned to visualize with such clarity that the quantum field had no choice but to conform. You chipped away at the marble day after day, with discipline, with force, with unwavering intent. And it worked. You saw the results. You proved the model to yourself, time and time again. But that model is based on a fundamental premise: separation. The sculptor is here. The marble is there. The observer is separate from the observed. This perceived gap required immense energy to bridge. It required tools, techniques, and relentless effort. The sculptor had to work, to strain, to impose their will upon the material. But what happens when the sculptor works for so long with such devotion that they begin to resonate at the exact same frequency as the marble? What happens when the observer stares so intently into the quantum field that the boundary between them begins to dissolve? This is the graduation. This is the moment you have passed through. You have entered the post-observer phase. The post-observer phase is the state in which the consciousness of the observer becomes so coherent, so stable, and so unified with the quantum field that it no longer needs to exert external force to collapse a wave of potential, because it has become the wave itself. There is no longer a gap to bridge. The entanglement of the observer and the observed is no longer a theoretical concept. It is your lived operational reality. This is why your old methods have suddenly become obsolete, why they feel clunky and even counterproductive. Continuing to use forceful visualization or strenuous acting as if in the post-observer phase is like a master sculptor who can now shape marble with a single touch, insisting on using a crude hammer and a beginner's chisel. The old tools don't just feel inefficient, they actively create resistance. They are a declaration of disbelief in your own new nature. Every time you try to manifest, you are screaming into the universe that you are separate from what you desire. You are reinforcing the old paradigm of sculptor and marble, a paradigm you have already outgrown. Think back to the sheer effort it took to hold a frequency or force an observation in the old paradigm. Can you feel the energetic exhaustion of that old model? That exhaustion was the price of separation. The new paradigm operates on a single, stunning principle: the complete dissolution of the boundary between you and the field. Creation no longer happens out there as a result of something you do in here. It is an instantaneous internal recognition. There is no distance to travel. There is no time lag to endure. There is no wave to collapse. This is the observer effect explained advanced. It's not about how you observe the universe. It's about realizing you are the universe observing itself. The sculptor has not just mastered the marble. The sculptor has remembered that they were the marble all along. Here is the central paradox of your entire spiritual and quantum journey. You had to try so hard to observe your reality into existence that you finally, completely, stopped trying altogether. This moment of surrender, this point of utter release was not failure. It was your graduation. The immense effort, the discipline, the visualizations, the relentless focus, all of it was designed to bring you to a single, inevitable conclusion: that the one who is trying is the only thing standing in the way. The post-observer phase is not entered through a final, heroic act of will. It is entered through the dissolution of the will itself. It is entered through release, not through more effort. Every technique you mastered was a path to its own obsolescence. Every spiritual tool you sharpened was designed to be laid down. You were building a scaffold to reach a height from which you could finally realize there was nothing to climb. This is the moment where the central metaphor of your existence is rewritten. For years you were the quantum sculptor. You stood apart from the marble of the quantum field, observing it, studying its potential, and using the chisel of your focused attention to painstakingly chip away everything that was not your desired creation. It was work. It required force, precision, and a clear separation between you the artist and the material you were shaping. That was a necessary phase. It was the training ground that forged your consciousness into a coherent instrument. But you are no longer the sculptor. That paradigm has collapsed. You are the marble. Feel that for a moment. You are not the external force acting upon reality. You are the substance of reality itself, becoming aware of its own infinite potential from within. Your thought is no longer the chisel striking the stone from the outside. Your thought is the stone itself, rearranging its own molecular structure, instantly and effortlessly, into the form of your knowing. There is no impact. There is no resistance. There is only becoming. This changes everything. Absolutely everything. The most profound implication of this shift is the total annihilation of time lag. The gap between desire and manifestation was only ever a function of the perceived distance between the sculptor and the marble. It was the time it took for the signal of your intention to travel, to impact the field and for the field to respond. But when you are the field, where can the signal possibly travel to? When your consciousness and the substance of reality are one and the same, the birth of an intention and its physical expression are not two separate events on a timeline. They are a single event, viewed from two different perspectives. There is no process anymore. There is no path from here to there. There is no journey to your desire. Any attempt to do something to make it happen instantly reinstates the old paradigm of the sculptor, creating separation where none exists. This is the root of the friction you may have felt recently when trying to apply old techniques. You are a graduate trying to sit in a beginner's classroom, and the tools no longer fit your hands. So, what is the post-observer phase in practice? It is the end of seeking and the beginning of being. The new methodology is not a technique. It is a state of being we call instantaneous knowing. It is a radical departure from visualization, which presupposes a future you need to create. It is a departure from acting as if, which presupposes a reality you need to imitate. Instantaneous knowing is the calm, quiet, unshakable recognition of a present reality that was simply veiled by your previous belief in separation. You are not manifesting something new. You are simply choosing to perceive the layer of reality that has always been present, always been yours. You are tuning your awareness to a frequency that is already broadcasting. What if the reality you desire isn't something you need to pull towards you, but a frequency that is already you, simply waiting for you to stop resisting it? This shift in operation requires a fundamental shift in identity. This is the final and most critical revelation of this new phase. For a long time, you have been told that you are a creator of your reality, a powerful co-creator working in partnership with the universe. This was a beautiful, empowering, and necessary identity. It allowed you to step into your power and take responsibility for your experience. But it is not the final truth. It was a stepping stone. You are not a creator of your reality. You are reality itself, experiencing its own becoming. The distinction is seismic. A creator is still separate from its creation, but reality is all-encompassing. There is nothing outside of it to create with or act upon. The identity of creator keeps you locked in a subtle duality. The identity of reality dissolves it completely. You are not an agent working within the quantum field. You are the quantum field that has organized a portion of itself into a focal point of awareness in order to experience its own majesty. This isn't philosophy. It is the endpoint of quantum mechanics, where the distinction between consciousness and the cosmos becomes mathematically and experientially meaningless. This revelation is not a theory. It's your lived experience. The epiphany you just had is not a mental construct to be admired. It is a description of the physics you are now living under. But the mind, trained for years in the old paradigm of cause and effect, of delay and effort, demands proof. It looks for evidence. It seeks data to validate the new state, and the data is everywhere. You have likely been misinterpreting it, dismissing it, or even worrying about it. You have been witnessing the undeniable energetic fingerprints of the post-observer phase and calling them coincidence, luck, or even emotional numbness. Today, you receive the decoder lens. These are not things you are attracting. These are not signs you are manifesting. They are the direct, measurable signatures of a fundamental shift in your being. They are the evidence that you are no longer the sculptor, but the marble itself. The first and most startling quantum signature is instantaneous synchronicity. Notice my choice of words. Not fast, not rapid, instantaneous. In the old paradigm, you would set an intention, hold a frequency, and perhaps in a day, a week, or a month, a synchronicity would appear, confirming you were on the right path. There was a time lag, a buffer between cause and effect. That buffer is now gone. In the post-observer phase, the thought and the event are not two separate points in time. They are two faces of a single quantum event. The moment a need is crystallized in your awareness, the solution appears. Not an hour later. Now. You think of an obscure question from quantum chromodynamics, and the person you pass on the street is an out-of-work physicist who begins a conversation. You realize you need a specific type of software for a project, and a 5-minute-old email in your inbox announces that very software is now available for free for a limited time. I remember the moment this became undeniable for me. I was writing, searching for a very specific metaphor to describe the feeling of non-local consciousness. The word wouldn't come. I felt into the essence of it, a sense of being everywhere at once, a unified network. I paused, stood up from my desk, and walked to the kitchen. My partner was watching a nature documentary, one I had never seen. The exact moment I walked into the room, the narrator said, "The mycelial network operates as a single distributed intelligence, a forest-wide brain." It wasn't fast. It wasn't a clever manifestation. It was proof. It was proof of zero separation between the inquiry in my consciousness and the information in the field. The universe didn't rush to bring me the answer. The answer was already present, and my consciousness simply tuned to the channel where it was being broadcast. This is not you getting what you want. This is you experiencing what you are. The second quantum signature, and one that often causes the most confusion, is the dissolution of desire. The burning, aching, desperate longing for things. It's gone, isn't it? In the old model, desire was the engine. The feeling of lack was the fuel. You had to want something with every fiber of your being to generate enough energetic momentum to pull it from the quantum field into your reality. That entire mechanism is now obsolete. For you, continuing to generate that intense lack-based desire is like trying to start a fire with flint and steel inside a fusion reactor. It's a profound misunderstanding of the power you are now wielding. The feeling of lack cannot exist when you are energetically one with all potential. You cannot long for something you already are. So, the intense need for a specific outcome, for a soulmate, for $1 million, it simply fades. It is replaced by something far more potent. A calm preference. You don't need the $1 million to feel abundant. You are abundance itself, and therefore you calmly prefer to have that abundance expressed in your financial reality. You don't need a person to feel whole. You are wholeness itself, and you calmly prefer to share that wholeness with a companion. The desperation is gone because the illusion of separation is gone. If you have been feeling less motivated, less driven, don't mistake it for lethargy. You are not losing your edge. You have simply graduated from the physics of need to the physics of being. The third and most profound signature is a state of deep emotional neutrality and detachment. Old triggers, the ones that were guaranteed to hijack your nervous system, now fail to provoke a reaction. You witness personal and global drama with a strange sense of objectivity, as if watching a film whose plot you already know. An insult that would have wounded you for days now lands with no impact. A piece of bad news that would have sent you into a spiral of anxiety is now just information. You may have worried that you were becoming apathetic, cold, or disconnected. You are not. You are simply experiencing the view from the quantum field itself. The field is pure potential. It holds the possibility of war and peace, sickness and health, tragedy and triumph, all without judgment. It is the neutral screen upon which all realities can be projected. By becoming one with the field, you have taken on its fundamental quality, neutrality. This is not apathy. It is the highest form of compassion. From this state, you are no longer adding your reactive energy to the chaos. You are a stabilizing force, a point of coherence in a sea of turbulence. You observe the storm from its calm, silent eye, and by doing so, you offer the storm a path back to peace. This is the ultimate power. So look at your life through this new lens. Instantaneous synchronicity, the dissolution of desperate desire, a profound emotional neutrality. Do you see? These are not random occurrences. They are a pattern. They are consistent data points proving your new operational physics. They are your quantum signature, written across the fabric of your reality. You are no longer guessing. You are no longer hoping. You are reading the evidence of your own evolution. In the comments below, share which of these 3 signs is the most undeniable proof in your life right now. Let's create a powerful testament to this collective shift. I will read every single one. You understand it. You have seen the evidence. The intellectual framework is now in place, and you recognize the quantum signatures of this new phase in the fabric of your lived experience. But this is where most spiritual paths end. At the edge of a great knowing, we will not stop there. Because knowledge is not mastery. Conviction is not embodiment. The map is not the territory. Now, we move beyond belief and into direct gnosis. We will embody this state together right now, not as a practice but as a homecoming. Find a comfortable position, one where you can remain undisturbed for just a few moments. Close your eyes. Take a single, deep breath, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the identity you have been performing. Release the need to understand what comes next. Simply arrive here. Now, bring your awareness inward. Not to your thoughts, but to the sheer physicality of your being. Feel the subtle energy field of your own body. Now I want you to sense the space inside your body. Not the organs, not the bones, not